I'll give you one guess what kind of car I'm driving. Mini. If you guessed it, you guessed right. Yay. So I'm sitting outside of the Fort Fisher Recreation Area, and I just went there out to the ocean and flirted with the waves. They break and they sometimes surprise you and want you to get really wet. And I was just talking about emotions and the transformative quality of the emotions, that once they surface, you can allow them to be released and process a lot of grief. And usually that's what you hold. I mean, I have a lot of joy, but I'm not going to be in denial of the tears that are real and the fears that surface and the false belief systems and the I'm getting rained on. I'm not sure what to do. Let me put my window up a little bit. Nice. There, I've got cross ventilation now. I won't get wet with that one open. I see clear skies over there. I'm sticking it out. I want to come to this beach and go beach combing, because my understanding is they've got some of the best finds. Yeah. So, counting the raindrops. I mean, there are plenty of people going out there. I'm just not thick-blooded enough. It's muggy on this side in the parking lot with the dunes breaking the wind. But as soon as you get out there, it's blustery. It's chilly. I had to have 2 layers on over this cotton shirt. So emotions. I am aware that many of us grew up with the invalidation of our emotions. And it wasn't necessarily because our parents were awful people. They were working their butts off, trying to have a family and make ends meet. And today's society, the social engineers have made it so that it's increasingly difficult for a family to actually have free time. I wonder how they keep their houses clean. I wonder how people actually have the ability to keep their houses clean and relate to each other. Well, apparently a lot of people aren't. They're suffering. And by design, we've got 2 parents, hopefully, that are working hard, and they're strapped because they have to focus on their jobs, and then they have to juggle daycare, unless somebody's lucky enough that the mother can stay at home. And I'm an advocate of that. And I will tell you, I mean, that was part of the problem with my first marriage, is that I had planned on working steadily since when both children entered kindergarten. And my then husband ridiculed me. And it really hurt to be told that I didn't keep the house clean enough. And I'm a mother, and it hurt because I wasn't being recognized. And I said to him, my husband at the time, what would you rather have, since I really cannot do both, honestly? Would you rather have a clean house or happy children? Do you want to come home to a scene where 2 children are crying and bawling their eyes out because mommy had no time for them because she had to clean something? Do you really want to have that in your life as a man? And we had very little money, and I was already hooked by the time I learned he had a child from another woman. They had married. She divorced him because he was a tough cookie. So, truth be known, he was a man that didn't have emotional maturity, and he was raised Catholic with Catholic guilt, And his loving mom told him that she couldn't keep her legs crossed and they weren't into anal sex. So therefore, she had to have him because she was doing her obligatory wifely duties. Imagine that, being told you exist only because she couldn't prevent pregnancy. So it messed with his head, and he is a lesser narcissist, but he does have pathological narcissist tendencies. And a lot of them were he would imagine rooms of people looking at him and mocking him when we went someplace together, out of his element. So he worked, still does, for IBM. I've been moved, so I was out in Tucson, Arizona when I met him. That's where I was the shaman's apprentice and the dancer and the art student, all wrapped up in one. And he and I met, and before I knew it, I was in trouble, and I found out from his ex-wife that he was a tough cookie, which essentially means he is grouchy and he turns on you in an instant and imagines things that aren't real and tells you that you're not loving him enough because he can't actually accept love. Love actually bounced off his body like water on a duck's back. And we had friends mutually by way of his work, because that's where he was comfortable with his work buddies. And so we had he and I had the kids, and we had a nice place. I thought it was a cute little 3-story condo with a nice back patio and front landing and 2 bedrooms, 2 baths with a nice vaulted ceiling. By standards of other countries, we were living in the lap of luxury. And I was very grateful for it. And they would come over and we would hang out with them. So we got to know these people very, very well over the course of my children. I met most of them while my first daughter was born, my only daughter, and when my second child was born, it became a different situation. It was actually a lot of fun. A lot of fun both times, but having 2 kids close together was easier than having one. And what went down was he said to them, "God doesn't show me love enough." And they said, "What are you talking about? Aren't you seeing what we're seeing?" So I would go over to him and I would actually like touch his back and rub the back of him, you know, back here, and just tell him that he was, by energetically doing it, you know, my love. But he couldn't absorb it. That's how sick in the head these narc types are. The other thing he did was come home angry. He was never grateful. And he didn't fulfill certain responsibilities that a husband and a father should. That all changed when I left him. And I left him for a man who I hadn't had an affair with, but I had a mental connection. I enjoyed talking to him because he had more depth. And husband number 1 had absolutely no depth. There was nothing going on between his ears. Very simple man, and we were both frustrated. He should never have married me. Plain and simple. But narcs are who they are, and they have to have a partner because they have to have supply. They have to have a person in their life to give them a feeling of worthiness, because they can't actually generate their own self-worth. And so it has to come from outside. It has to come through their, what do you call it? Their work, or from other people telling them how great they are, whatever. But they also can't absorb love from the main supply, which was me, his wife, and the mother of his 2 children, our 2 children. So there's a lot to this story. And subsequently, he has another wife, his 3rd and final. And I observe them extremely dysfunctional. She's always frustrated, and she has no idea what she's married, and he's no keeper. But hey, I mean, her first husband beat her and drank too much, so for her, that's like a level up.
We can do stuff.
Hey. I went out to the ocean earlier and I got all wet. Is it raining now or did it stop? Is it drizzling? Does it feel good?
It's all right so far.
Okay, I'm gonna go out there in between rain bands.
Well, good. I said, I bought this because I'm not supposed to be in the sun, but it's working as an umbrella today.
Oh, that's a beautiful idea. I think I'll get one like that.
Well, get one. Yeah.
I know right where they are. The Kure Beach, the wharf shop has a bunch of them. Have you been?
Yeah.
Have you been to their wharf shop?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Right on the pier.
We've been on the pier. You have to go through that to.
Yeah, they got a great bunch of selections.
I get my ice cream cones there.
Okay. Ice cream cones, yum.
Yeah, I get those too.
Well, have fun. Thank you. So yeah, I'm gonna go have fun and catch a little bit more of the water. But that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to finally just tell the internet. Because I'm not able to tell anybody any of this. Because they don't want to listen. It's like, apparently my leaving him was all my fault. Ugh. I was the bad person. The universe knows. The universe knows otherwise, wouldn't you say? Okay, I'm going to get to ocean while the ocean's good. Wrapping this up, not to have a belly ache session, but to just let you know that I'm processing and recognizing and able to express to my audience the truths that my own adult children don't want to hear. And that they don't need to hear it. They want to love their father and the women that came into his life. I mean, 2 months after I left this man, he had a lover move in with a baby from another man. And I thought to myself, white trash. White trash. And turned out she was into NASCAR, so maybe I wasn't too far from the truth. NASCAR is a really loud racing thing that is for Southern yahoos. And they love it. And it's a culture that I am not part of. I do not drink cheer wine, Orange Crush, or Mountain Dew, or Pepsi, or any of those sugary drinks, mind you. All right, folks, let your emotions process. Come to terms with your past. Pick the gifts that you've learned from those experiences. I learned that I've had to have an incredible tolerance for people who have wrong ideas about me in their head without feeling the need to change their minds. Because it's not them I'm living for, it's me. It's me and my mother and the planet and my father, the intended God, wherever he may be, Jupiter, emanating from Jupiter energetically, I don't know. But to allow that masculine and feminine energy into my life by way of saying, I have a mother, father, God, and they love me very, very much. And I am designed for this place. And I am in full acceptance into the joy of my being, and I am so grateful for this life. Enjoy yours. Let me know in the comment section below the sorts of emotions maybe you're processing now. And be sure to have a good blood moon coming up on Sunday. I think it's May 16th through the 17th, in the wee hours of the night and morning. On the East Coast anyway. Okay?